Just a quick overview. This is a wiring repair done on a remodel for a friend. He had a general contractor do the job for him that supposedly hired an electrician that was supposed to do the wiring of the home and trying to update some stuff. And he put in the new black 8-2 wire that was melting, and just kind of overlooked some stuff. He had him back out there because the breaker and fuse kept popping, and they weren't able to figure out what was going on, and originally quoted him to do a full panel replacement to solve this issue. So I came out and did this for him, and we'll see if this ends up fixing everything. So I had a buddy call me over to take a look at this panel for him. First thing I noticed was wrong was this disconnect box to the AC is a 30 amp pushmatic breaker. On the AC unit's only rated for 25 max, and that runs into a 50 amp breaker. So we're gonna be eliminating that, pulling that back into the panel, switching that out for a 20. And then this 60 amp breaker for the furnace runs down into this 8-2 wire, which is not rated for that amperage. So we're gonna be pulling that as well. That goes to the wall here, and then to the furnace, which is down the wall inside here, and we're gonna get that also replaced. So we're into the panel here. This is the one for the AC. This is the one for the furnace. You can actually see that the wire is melting for the furnace right there because it's the wrong size, and it's been overdrawn for that size wire. So we got the furnace running right now. We're going to just go ahead and work on the heat pump AC condenser outside first. And right now you can actually hear that 60 amp breaker buzzing as it's probably getting ready to trip. I think it's loaded down. And there it is, about 30 seconds later, that ended up tripping. You can see that lug is even melting inside and getting loose. That one's tight. That one's melting that. Not only is it a little loose, it's probably not helping, but it's melting inside there. So we're going to jump over to the wire for the furnace. This is the original routing for it. Comes in through that wall, runs overhead, it runs down to this fusible disconnect that they have currently bypassed because it kept blowing the fuses. Here's a view from that same 8-gauge wire coming down and getting to this fusible disconnect. So you can see the 8-gauge wire here is pretty small compared to the original 6-gauge wire coming out of this fusible disconnect into the furnace. So then going over to the furnace here, we have the 6-gauge wire came down into this 60 amp breaker for the disconnect in the furnace. And I already got those wires pulled out here because we're replacing the entire thing. This is the old hole in the stud header for where the old wire passed through is a little too small, so we had to drill that out. So we got the new 6-2 wire ran down here. Just ran it straight up onto the floor joist to make it a little bit cleaner. It then runs down into this wall cavity where the old wire ran, and then through the wall into the garage. All right, so we got the 6-2 in, the 8-2 out. Got that coming in. Had to steal one of these from another panel because that knockout ended up coming out, and they used this, which is wrong to begin with. That comes up in, back into the 60, tied the ground in, top loop there, into the main ground bar rather than the secondary on the side. And got it stapled through and through. Furnace is back on and running, and we'll check the amp draw and voltage drop on this. So we got the heat pump condenser hooked back up. We had to run some jumpers on there just because the wire that was run to here wasn't quite long enough. It was good on these though, just the ground and the neutral. So over here we have laundry and hot water heater. Hot water heater was tripping a bunch before, so we threw it in for laundry, and we have a replacement breaker for this one. So gonna pull out both these, switch this one back to laundry, and put a brand new one on the hot water heater. So taking the old one and put it in for the dryer. new one. Nice and firm, and they're tight. And we'll get that hooked up for the water heater. Cool. So we got those all changed out. That changed out. That can get turned back on. We'll wait on these ones real quick. I'm gonna do a quick amp draw on those ones while the furnace is still running. So we got our little baby amp meter. Turn that over to 200. Pull a leg of that out. And that ain't right. Let's reset it. And try this again. So it's probably turning off right now. We're probably just running just blower from the look of it. Check black. Yeah, we're just running blower right now. Just check the condenser. Get nothing on that. And we'll hit the whole house. 13 and 4.7. So I'm gonna throw the furnace back on, make that cycle, and check the hot water heater too, because we were getting like 2 on one leg and 4 on the other last time we were here. So right now, just the heat pump is on, running 6.5, 6.2, 6.5, 6.5, yeah, so we're looking pretty good there. So right now all we're doing is running blower. So trying to get this thing to kick on the elements, the heat strips, whatever you want to call it in this, and get that big 40 amp current draw. So while we're waiting for that, I'm just go ahead and turn these 3 back on. Now we're getting the right amount of current on the hot water heater. Before we were only getting like 4, so we probably had a lot going into ground because it was shorting out. So 17.4, 17.6, close enough for this little guy. So we're looking pretty good as far as current draw goes on there, and that one's for up to 30. But just waiting for that guy to kick on the heat strip. So here we are, heat strips just kicked on, so we're getting 42.9 and 43, but probably just clamp position on there. Yeah, we're getting 43 on this one too, 43, 44. So check, what we want to do real quick is check our voltage here. So a little bit of drop off of 40. Let's see if we can get these to reach up to the main lugs. So that is at the main as well. Let's go check that in the furnace. So looking good, not really a big drop in here. Just the whole circuit's kind of pulling down a little bit. Before we were getting like a 4 to 5 volt drop on this circuit based on not having the right wire in here. So that's looking a lot better. And then each of these should be pulling a decent amount. So that was pulling 20, and that was pulling 21. So looking pretty good. So there we go, we got it all buttoned back up. Everything looks like it's operating right. Got the right wire in now. Took out that box that wasn't needed. That guy right there, and they should be good to go now.